Ready wins. Fatality.
Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics on Unfiltered. Join me tonight to discuss today's City Council meeting. As well as yesterday's inauguration ceremony. Join me, folks. Good evening, folks. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. It's the second day of the new year. The first meeting of the City Council, and it was already exciting. It was a very interesting meeting. Short, but it was interesting. Today was the reorganization meeting at the Yonkers City Council over there at City Hall. And if you don't know what that is, that's when they reassign committees. They name a majority leader, a new minority leader, but they don't necessarily have to change them, right? They can vote to keep them the same, or, you know, they can, I guess, I don't know if they want, agree with, because they didn't agree really to it today, and we'll get into that. But, you know, they come to the decision that this is going to be the majority leader, the minority leader. They're going to chair this committee. This person's going to chair that committee. And with chairing a committee comes an additional $15,000. That's right, as of this year. And the raise that the council members voted on themselves, they are now getting $15,000 per committee that they chair. So that's on top of their base salary and other perks, which include, as we all know, and I've spoken about here, the vehicles that they get, the gas, the insurance, the maintenance on that vehicle, and other areas of income, you know. And just really quick, in Florida, they're going to be making it a law that elected officials have to reveal all of their sources of income. It has to be public now. And so some of the elected officials down there have been resigning. But anyway, folks, let's get into that. But really quick, actually, I want to show you this. I also posted Stephen Dolan. The individual that drove drunk and killed 16-year-old CJ Hackett. He was sentenced this year and then was turned himself in, or he went to serve his time back in September. And I shared something about that, when he was actually transferred from Valhalla, because some people were questioning why was he still in Valhalla, I believe Valhalla, or he was still downstate here in Westchester County. But I've shared some documents indicating that he was transferred as of today, January 2nd, Stephen Dolan. And again, he's the individual that was convicted of killing CJ Hackett while drinking and driving, the city employee, right? And that was, very upsetting to many people. And that was talked about for a while, and it will still be talked about, in some form, right? City employee driving drunk, and then possibly, some people believe, getting treated differently, getting special considerations, specifically when it comes to his sentencing, which he got a year and a half to 4.5 years, and other considerations, right? But city employees drinking and driving, and another individual that I spoke about on the podcast who was also drinking and driving at several years back, got into an accident after driving the wrong way down Central Park Avenue and didn't get fired. Instead, he still continued to move up and get higher pay raises, right? Pay increases. And that's Akeem Jamal, a gentleman by the name of Akeem Jamal. And now this article was sent to me and shared with me in regards to Mr. Akeem Jamal. And I was very surprised by the article and when I read it, because this is from Roosevelt Island Daily News, excuse me. Apparently, Akeem Jamal, again, former city employee, now city employee again, was working down there on Roosevelt Island. And this news page, this news outlet, the Roosevelt Island Daily News, from day one was questioning, why was this individual here? Why was this man from Yonkers down here at Roosevelt Island? What was his qualifications? How did he get this job? And so he followed him throughout the tenure of his time there at Roosevelt Island. And according to the article, came to realize that he wasn't really qualified for this job. And at one point, something had happened, and then he just disappeared. And they wondered, where did Akeem Jamal go? And now they're reporting where he's going to be at now. He's back in Yonkers with a job paying $170,000 a year. And so it has this news outlet, Roosevelt Island Daily News, questioning the city of Yonkers and what goes on in here with patronage jobs. ROC disappeared him, but now we found Akeem Jamal anyway. What appeared to be an arranged marriage never looked promising considering the egos involved. When Jamal left his assistant communications director job, the story floated out of Yonkers was that Mayor Mike Spano's young star was going to work for the Hochul administration, right? That's what we all thought. We spoke about that. I even mentioned that here. Spano declared it Akeem Jamal Day in Yonkers. No one explained why he'd leave a city of 210,000 where he thrived for a parking place at a tiny Roosevelt Island. His star was not rising unless, even though he did not fit the minimum qualifications for his AVP post at ROC, Jamal had a certain swagger. He was self-confident, and he was here to clean up the messes within RIOC. Later, IROC communications logging and strewn with illiteracies, another much more accomplished specialist was hired. Bryant Daniels' hiring looked like a death knell for Jamal, but it wasn't. More like a Band-Aid. The best of a bad lot at the state agency, he broke ground by communicating with the dreaded local media and was consistently friendly figure at public events. A funny thing, though, developed as his professional shortcomings grew more evident. Jamal grew closer to Haynes. And then in August this year, he stepped out ahead of Haynes in a public article advocating an approach diametrically opposite that of Haynes. Then poof, he was gone. But we found Jamal. For whatever reason, Jamal blocks us from seeing this resume on LinkedIn, the same as Haynes. What's there that either once kept unseen? After our earlier report on Jamal's disappearance, a journalist within the Yonkers Ledger, shout out to the Yonkers Ledger, Mark Paralisi, reported a soft landing. Jamal became press secretary for Yonkers Public Schools in November. His compensation is a whopping $170,000 per year. Jamal's daddy is Abdul Jamal, currently Deputy Commissioner of Information Technology for the city of Yonkers. Immediately before that appointment, he served for 3 years as an appointed trustee within the Yonkers Public Schools. All of these are patronage jobs controlled by Mayor Mike Spano. Patronage is common among local and state governments in New York. They are reviled by good government groups because they create bloated payrolls without sufficient attention to performance. And as with Roosevelt Island, the cash all comes out of the residents' pockets. So still none of this should bother you unless you're disgusted that public education is previously underfunded across the U.S., or it turns your stomach that poorly paid teachers go begging for classroom supplies or pay for them out of their own earnings. It pisses you off that Jamal hauls in $170,000 in his city where the average annual salary is under $35,000 a year and the average household earns about $72,000 per year. Or if you're sick and tired of dizzyingly high salaries not tied to qualifications or performance. This is Governor I Can't Believe She's Worse Than Cuomo Hochul's New York Now. Just pay your taxes and shut up. So a lot of attention is coming upon the city of Yonkers. More people are noticing it. I mean, a lot of things have been happening here that are making things more obvious. More people are speaking about it. Shout out to the Yonkers Ledger, as they were mentioned in this article. This is, again, the Roosevelt Island Daily News. Speaking of patronage jobs within the city of Yonkers, because they received an individual, Akeem Jamal, within their community with a job that just didn't seem like he was qualified for, and they wondered where he came from. From what I hear is he went up to Albany with Kathy Hochul, but then they sent him down to Governor's Island because nobody really wanted him. He wasn't qualified. So he comes back to the only place that he can truly thrive here in the city of Yonkers, where qualifications mean nothing. It's all about who you know, who are you connected to, and what you have done for certain individuals. That's Yonkers politics. So let's move on. Mayor Landy takes over the building department. And I said this, some people said, Freddie, I think you're wrong here. Former Deputy Mayor Sue Jerry returns. I said Sue Jerry was going to become the deputy mayor. Some people said, no. Why would they want her back? She was holding people accountable. She, was about doing the right thing. I don't know. I don't know Sue Jerry. I just got information that she would be coming back as deputy mayor, as Tony Landy would become the building department commissioner in place for Sam Borelli, who was fired to the surprise of many. But Tony Landy's not going to be there very long because he's going to be retiring soon. So that's a temp job. He's off to the Carolinas to his retirement home. He's had enough. He's done enough. He's made his money. And so they'll be looking for another building department commissioner. And by the way, I did announce the new superintendent of schools, a gentleman by the name of Anibel Solar. I'm sorry, I got to get the article. I don't have it up. But I'm hearing that may not be the case. I may have jumped the gun, but I don't know. This is what I was told. This was reported. He's coming from Schenectady schools. Is he? Has he been hired by the city of Yonkers? This was actually reported on the Yonkers Voice. That's why I mentioned it. But I knew that it was not going to be Nader Sayegh. And I hear that the Jordanian communities are very upset about that. They had highly hoped for Nader Sayegh, assemblyman, to become the next superintendent of the city of Yonkers, which, by the way, was driving down Central Avenue with his phone in his hand. That's illegal. You can get a ticket for that. Just be careful. Okay, Nader Sayegh. That's an example as an elected official, But he's not going to be getting the job. There's a nationwide search. And according to the Yonkers Voice, there was a gentleman that was hired from Schenectady schools, a gentleman by the name of Anibel Solar, I believe, Jr. And I know that Nader's not going to be the guy. And I also know that they're looking for a Hispanic. Yonkers Public Schools, largely Hispanic, 63%, right? And then you have another 19% Black, and then the rest is everyone else. That's just how it is. So they're looking for a Hispanic to, I guess, match the demographic there, right? So I don't know. It hasn't been officially confirmed by the city of Yonkers, but I'm putting it out there anyway. A lot of times I'm right. As you see, I put it out there to Yonkers Ledger. I jump the gun all the time, but you see, jump the gun with Sue Jerry. Once again, I was right. Jumped the gun with Nader Sayegh not becoming the superintendent, although I did think he was, but then I report he wasn't going to be. I had been hearing that, and he wasn't. So there you go. Folks, the ceremony was yesterday, but let's take a look at today's. Oh, by the way, this is crazy. I saw this on Yonkers Avenue, 26 Yonkers Avenue. What is this green ooze coming out of this building here? And I know they had put dye in the Sawmill River in order to determine where there were leaks throughout the city of Yonkers. This is not too far from the Sawmill River. In fact, this is 26 Yonkers Avenue. Look at this green stuff bubbling from the front of this residential building here. And it's coming out and it's going all the way. It looks almost like antifreeze, right? Or what's that? A coolant. And it's going all the way down into the sewer. And so I don't know, where's that coming out of? I did report it to the city. I did, reach out to somebody. So I didn't just record it and not say nothing. But I did. I don't know if the Ninja Turtles were around. They were in town. This is Hollywood on the Hudson. Maybe they're filming a movie. Just kidding. But yeah, that's crazy there. So I don't know what that was. Hopefully they took care of that. But it's just crazy the way that it was bubbling right there. Look, out of this building here. That's crazy. Moving on. So, folks, today the Yonkers City Council had an interesting meeting. Way to start off the 2024 year, guys. I love it. I was so excited because I said, this is great content. This is great stuff to talk about. But this also exposes what a circus, I've said, our city government can be at times, and how, nasty it can be. And retaliation is a very real thing. And Merante spoke about it today. Today was the reorganization meeting where they decided who was going to be the majority leader, the minority leader, what committees they were going to be chairing. And some people weren't happy. Some people were just not happy. Anthony Merante, the councilman from the 6th district, being one of them. And this is what he had to say. Let me know if you can't hear it, please.
Mr. Clerk, all members by name.
Adopted 7-0. Item number 2 is to determine rules of proceedings.
Thank you. As the clerk mentioned, all of the proposed rules were distributed to the council members, and you should have them on your desk. And with that, we will open the floor for discussion. Councilman Merante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Happy New Year to everybody in the room, anyone watching. Well, we've come a long way, especially I feel I've come a long way here at the City Council. I joined the council, my first day here was January 1st of 2018. And when we came to this reorganization meeting at that particular time, I was given the Committee of Community Relations. We had a couple of things that we proposed through there. It was fun. We brought up that we made Christmas, make sure everyone said Merry Christmas and the Christmas trees and all that. It was fun. Then we got some seriousness. And on January 1 of 2020, I had the honor of being appointed the budget chair. Little did we know a couple of weeks after that, COVID was going to come about. And I did a great job keeping this budget on a positive level. We did well remotely, made sure that everything moved smoothly, and came away with a very good but fun balance at the end of my term. Then came January of 22. I again honored to chair the Legislation and Codes Committee. Had a lot of potential progress there. However, that was railroaded and put on a back burner in November. I think it was November 19th of 23, when I voted no to extend term limits. Okay, retribution begins. The 6th district.
So Anthony Merante was one of the 2 individuals that voted no to extend the term limits, a legislation that was introduced by City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. He voted yes when they extended them to 3 terms back in, I believe, 2018, but he felt that 4 terms was too much, and he started to think that maybe voting for a 3rd term was a big mistake. Some people say Merante was just saying this because he wanted to run for mayor, which he did. He ran against Mike Spano unsuccessfully. But now he's talking about getting retribution because he challenged the mayor and he voted no against the term limit extensions.
For which I proudly represent and will continue to proudly represent as long as the people will have me. I was redistricted, okay, and which basically weakened the chances for the 6th district to be won by a Republican. I will make sure that a Republican will continue to be elected to the 6th district. I will work as hard as I can because I do what I have for my constituents.
And I hear, by the way, Democrat Tim Hodges will be running for District 6 when that time comes, again challenging, hoping to challenge Merante in the general election.
Here we are, I'm beginning my 7th year on the City Council, and I read these rules, which basically says Anthony Merante, councilman for 6 years, has not been assigned a committee. What does that mean? That's a disgrace. It's disrespectful to the residents of the 6th District. So basically, in reading through this, it looks like the city council is basically going to be run by 5 individuals. I'll bring a lot of popcorn. With that, okay, I find no reason to vote for these rules. I'm not part of it, but no, just given it today, that was total lack of leadership to not have this thing done so we can discuss it in prior weeks. But that's the way it is, okay? And I'm also not going to be able to vote, since there's no part of this, there's no reason for me to vote yes on majority and minority leader. As a target of political retribution, I sit here honored that my advocacy to be independent is working, because I'm here for the people, by the people, not by the council or from the second floor. Additionally, not being appointed to a committee, however, has its positive side to it. That $15,000 stipend will be saved by the city of Yonkers, okay? Furthermore, with the termination of my legislative aide, Connie Braun, who sat in this chamber with all the council members for 25 years, who was terminated, okay? She was terminated, okay? So, she's left to deal with a disabled son and no paycheck.
And that right there surprised me that he mentioned that. He's talking about his legislative aide, a woman by the name of Connie. I'm sorry, I don't know the last name, who after the elections, I believe the very next day after the elections, was terminated. And this decision came out of the minority leader's, Mike Breen's office. She was sent a letter saying her services were no longer needed. She was being let go. Right before the holidays, she has a disabled son, and now she doesn't have a paycheck. Why was she let go after so many years, over 20-some years? Was it because she helped Merante support, also supported other candidates who were not a part of those who are in power? You know, this is a very real thing, folks. If you're not aware of this here in the city of Yonkers, this is a very real thing. I've experienced it. A lot of other people have experienced it. You speak up, you do what's right, or you speak for what's right, you get retaliated. If you don't support certain individuals, you speak out against them, you get some form of retaliation, and it's very harsh. They don't care if you have a family. They don't care what bills you have to pay. They don't care what happens to you moving forward. It's just business for them. And I'm glad that Anthony Merante said something about it. It should have been spoken about publicly, because all of the retaliation that people go through should be spoken about publicly, and it should be cataloged, right? And we should all come together and continue to make our voices louder and show the problem. It's not unique. It's not one person who has an issue. It's not just two people who have an issue. It's not just people looking to get into politics. People who don't even speak on politics, who stay away from it, are a target if they're related to, if they are married to someone who speaks out. And that's a huge problem here in the city of Yonkers, and that's what's kept so many people quiet. But again, reach out to me anonymously, politicwithfred@gmail.com. It's time to not be afraid anymore.
That just is disgraceful. But it creates opportunities for the city of Yonkers, in that since I have no committees, that means I really don't need a legislative aid. If I need a couple of certificates, I can call on the minority to produce a couple of certificates for any grand openings or whatever we have to do, or ribbon cuttings. Okay. Therefore, the city could save another $50,000 to $70,000 on salary. I sit here disappointed, but proud that I am being targeted because I took the liberty to vote for issues that I believe in including, the term limiting, which we brought out, but the people spoke, and the people said that they're okay with someone being there more than 3 terms. I want to thank everybody. We're going to be look forward to, seeing where this is going to go. I will always be cordial to everybody, but I have no reason to, again, I'll be here. You're going to see me. I'm not going away. The rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated. I thank you for the opportunity to talk, Madam President, Madam Chair. And as I said, I will ask for a roll call because I will be voting no on this rules and the leaders. Thank you.
He said, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. This is getting real interesting, folks. And it's just day 2 of the new year. Unbelievable. He wasn't the only one who had an issue with some of the things that were going on here or the decisions that they were making today. Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac of District 2 as well.
Councilwoman Pineda Isaac.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here as we gather in a new year to reorganize, and excuse my raspy voice, to reorganize and start a new session amongst colleagues and really fulfill the jobs that we were elected to do. For me, being a councilwoman is my greatest honors. One of my greatest honors, and I truly love the work that we do, the work that I do, and I'm very passionate about the office of City Council. I will not be voting for these rules and the designation of majority and minority leader. 2 years ago when I voted against the rules, I did so for very specific reasons, which I stated. And I had hope that in that time, I could be proven wrong. I believe that I was not proven wrong and that the level of unprofessionalism, lack of decorum, disregard for others remains. And as such, I don't believe that the City Council is represented well with its current majority leader. Furthermore, I have been stripped of the committee as well. But that doesn't prevent me from attending committees. So I look forward to continuing to let my voice be heard, continuing to do the work that I love. It may be perceived as a punishment, but for me, it's continued freedom. And I'm excited to keep doing the work. I'm excited to keep moving forward. And I wish you all a successful new session. I congratulate the new incoming councilwoman, Councilwoman Deana Robinson. I look forward to working with you. And, in the rules, it does designate John Rubo as the whip. And I look forward to working with John because, in my opinion, he has been more of a majority leader than the actual majority leader. So I look forward to working with you and communicating with you and being able to have collegial discussions, even when disagreements are before us. Thank you so much. Let's get it popping.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Corazon Pineda Isaac, the councilwoman of the District 2, referring to Tasha Diaz, the majority leader, who still will be the majority leader, has not changed. So that's going to remain the same. I believe Mike Breen is still going to be the minority leader. He has been so for a very long time now. These are 2 loyal soldiers. They're not going to move those individuals from those positions at all. Loyal, will do anything that they are told. And so she was referring to when she first spoke out against Tasha Diaz becoming the majority leader. She did say, hopefully, that, over the course of the time that she would be majority leader, that she would be proven wrong. But today she said that she had not been proven wrong, and that's why she would not be voting for the rules here today. And she also said that John Rubo was more of a majority leader than Tasha Diaz was or is. He is the majority whip, which also comes with more money. These titles, majority leader and minority leader, also come with more money. And so they're raking in the dough. And I agree with Corazon Pineda Isaac. Tasha Diaz, as a majority leader and as a councilwoman, as a member of our council, as a member of the city government, has been very ratchet, very unprofessional, has made the city of Yonkers look very much like an embarrassment, a real circus, and I stand by that. And listen, don't take my word for it. Just go on YouTube or go through some of my past podcasts where I've shown her outbursts. I mean,
let's get it popping.
she said that once in a meeting. She said, let's get it popping. What do you mean? This is the city council of the city of Yonkers. What are we getting popping? We're voting on legislation here, right? Take that ghetto mess up out of here. She has not represented, the people well. And, she has not represented our people well. I'm sorry to say. I know some of you love her. I know some of you do, although she didn't get as much of an applause yesterday at the ceremony as, she normally has gotten. I think people are starting to, let's be honest. Let's be honest. What has she done as the majority leader? What has she done as a council member? They could talk a good game. They could talk a lot of fluff, but what have they done? Remember, she flip-flopped on the housing ordinance. There's a housing crisis. How many of you are having trouble finding an affordable place to live? How many of your rents are going up? Housing is a problem here. People are struggling while they vote on themselves raises, huge raises, while saying that they do stuff for the people and that they have performed for the people. What have they performed? She flip-flopped on affordable housing, making her very questionable in my eyes, particularly knowing who she has as her campaign support team, who is in charge of what she is doing, what she says, what she does, how she votes. It's very concerning. She doesn't represent the people of District 3. She represents developers, the developers that she was taking up into the food town over there on Elm Street, going into the office over there with the owners to work out a real estate deal. That's all she's concerned with, enriching herself. She hasn't done anything for people. She has shown people standing in the lines for free food on very cold days. Well, she's actually not there on the coldest days. She just lets the people stand there, right? But that's all she talks about doing, even though that's not her food, doesn't come from her pocket. She didn't create any laws to bring this food. She hasn't done anything but stand there, attach her name to it. They give out people's donations as if it's theirs. Some organizations giving you a box of socks. Let me go give it out. Here you go. Look, I'm doing a disc drive. It's for me, right? But it's not. That's all they've done. It's all for show. The real purpose that they're there is for what you see developing all around you in the city of Yonkers. The developers, the buildings going up, the movie studios. That's why they are there for. That's why she is majority leader. That's her main priority. That's who funds her. Prove me wrong. Come on my show and debate me, Tasha Diaz, majority leader, and shut me up once and for all. Prove to the people that Freddie Vasquez is wrong and that you've actually done something as the majority leader here in the city of Yonkers. Besides voting on term extensions, besides voting on a bunch of zoning changes, besides voting on raises for yourselves, what else have you done? What else? And the people of Yonkers must understand this. Eventually, the little people in the city will be left holding the bag. It's only a matter of time. Did you see the ceremony yesterday? I want to show some of this. I just thought it was incredible.
All my fellow elected officials, distinguished guests, and residents viewing remotely. I would like to thank each of you for taking part in the ceremonies today. I would also like to...
I'm going to show it from a different angle, better view. But she choked. I think she messed up on a part, right? Lost what she was, and then she blamed it on her grandmother channeling through her.
Do
She
solemnly
said, I'm
swear
sorry.
that
My grandmother was channeling through me. They always got to bring up some relative. I really want to.
officials, distinguished guests, and residents viewing remotely. I would like to thank each of you for taking part in the ceremonies today. I would also like to thank the Honorable Judge Janet Malone for swearing me in today. I am proud and humbled to have been reelected with overwhelming support from labor unions, the Yonkers Democratic Committee, and civic groups. When I first took office 4 years ago, I ran on a clear message of finding solutions to problems and working with all stakeholders to make sure the solution is equitable for everyone. I'm proud to say that I have delivered on this promise, and I will continue to deliver on this.
What has she delivered? What promises has she made that she has delivered on? She has delivered for the developers. She's walking around Elm Street with the developers, scouting out properties to deliver for them. They've delivered for her handlers in their donations and other funding, money laundering, AKA. What have you done for the people? Where are the jobs that were promised? I don't see a lot of jobs anywhere. None that are paying affordable salaries, affordable income, or I should say an income that can help you pay for one of those apartments on the waterfront that require you to make $150,000 a year. But like the article said, the average person makes $35,000 a year. The average household income is $72,000 a year. That doesn't qualify them for those $150,000 apartments. People are moving out of Yonkers, Tasha. People that mostly look like you, Tasha. They're not getting jobs. Maybe your small circle is, and they're happy to have the little jobs that you were able to get for them, and they will defend you to the very end. I know. They will write nasty posts about me to defend you when I show truth to the people about you. You're a fraud. You're a fake. You have not delivered. We're still waiting, and we will probably continue to wait.
Promise. Transparency, accountability, and results have been the hallmark of my first term in office. I promise the people of this great city that I will continue to uphold those noble commitments. Yonkers is at a crossroads where it is imperative we continue to move forward head on. Whether it be smart development, educational funding, or quality of life issues that are common with a growing city, we have a lot of work to do, Yonkers.
Lost a spot.
My grandmother. I'm just thinking of my grandmother because she's coming through me right now.
Listen, I don't know about your grandmother coming through you, but I know that you called a bunch of constituents up at City Hall once beggars, because they have come to you for help for their community. You know how you brag about giving out this free food, but in reality, you think of them as beggars. That's right, folks. When you're on that line, she thinks of you as beggars, but she'll put you in her videos to show off so you and everybody else can vote for her. That's what they taught her to do. That's why they asked for your information. Meanwhile, she's keeping you on that line because they're not providing jobs for you, right? And they're making your rent a lot higher. By allowing all these developers to come in here and develop Yonkers, that's causing all of your rents to go up as well. They're also allowing all these other developers or investors, smaller guys, to come in and buy up all the property around the buildings and renovate them and drive up the rents, forcing you out. That's all they're doing. The schools are still very much in need. One school that's yet to be built. Did you see where it's being built? They don't have a parking lot. So to the staff members that will be working there, you know, I feel for you. Every morning, you have to figure out where you're going to park. The kids have nowhere to go. It's such an awkward place. All the land that they had in Yonkers, all the spaces that they could have put new schools in, they gave them all to the developers. Thanks to Tasha Diaz and her crew. Leak and Watts property could have been a beautiful lot for a beautiful school, high school, that can accommodate 1,000 to 2,000 students. But they gave it away to the movie studios. Many lots, that were big with enough land, like on North Broadway, right by St. John's. But they gave that away to developers and movie studios. And they put Yonkers kids in a new building off McLean in this tight little area near Lawrence and McLean with no parking lot, with no place to go out and stretch their legs, next to residential houses. People who live there are going to have to deal with the teachers now parking and stuff. They're going to have to struggle during the day to park their cars. See, they're not being thought of. But the movie studios and the luxury developers, they get all the prime real estate. They get what they want. They came in, they gobbled up Yonkers and took what they wanted, left scraps for the schools to put another building. And we need 3 buildings. So there's still a need for 2 more. And on top of that, the rest of the schools need millions of dollars in renovation each. She is the chair of the education committee, which she will get an additional $15,000 for just to chair that. And the only thing I've seen her do as the chair of that committee is try to award a close friend and supporter of hers a no-bid contract to put bulletproof windows in all the school buildings. A multi-million-dollar contract. And that comes with kickbacks. You better believe that. So it's all about enriching herself. She hasn't done anything. And this is all BS. And I'm tired of the nonsense. And I'm here to showcase it, highlight it. It's very important. Let's see through the BS. And Deana Robinson, she's new. Not hating on Deana.
Can I get a round of applause for my shit?
But I do want you to hear something that Deana Robinson said that's very important. And it's in regards to a gentleman by the name of Zahi Jarris. Zahi Jarris, who's Tasha Diaz's campaign manager, along with his son, Frankie Jarris. Other individuals that she tried to award a no-bid contract to very recently, a $60,000 a year contract to basically take control of the Yonkers City Council, their messaging, their online presence, the literature, their even legislation that they may introduce. They wanted to help them with that. You're going to allow these individuals to help you draft legislation that, of course, the other people that they control are going to approve? Listen to this.
It is my honor to represent District 1 and continue the great work that you started. As you guys know, I'm a track and field girl. I'm a runner, so it's an honor to take the baton from you, Shanae, and I will always have your back. And I won't be too far, being that I'm following her to the county as well. So I'll still be very close. I love you. To Mayor Mike Spano and the entire Spano family, thank you so much for your love, your support, and believing in me when I didn't always believe in myself. I love you guys dearly, all 3,476 of you. Just kidding. Can't name you all, but I love you all. To my colleagues on the council, it's been a pleasure working with you this last 6 years, and I pray that we continue to work together well in my new role for however long I'm blessed to serve on the council, because the people and the city are truly what matters. And I know we will do great things if we keep that at the forefront. To the entire Yonkers City Clerk's office, thank you guys for being amazing. Thank you for always lending a helping hand. Special thanks to Narissa, my girl, love you. Vinny, Mike Ramondelli, I love you guys dearly. You guys are the best. To my self-proclaimed Lebanese cousin, Commissioner Tom Meyer, I appreciate you for everything you've done in City Hall and with the Democratic Party. You are appreciated.
And listen to this.
To my sweet legislative aide, Ange, wherever you are in the back. Hey, girl, I appreciate you for what you've already been doing before you even received the paycheck.
Listen to this.
I hope you're excited and ready for this ride, and I know you're going to be an asset to the city of Yonkers.
Come on.
I look forward to this journey. To the Jarris family, Zahi, Frankie, Seda, Francesca, love you guys and thank you guys so much for what you've done, all the support. Zay and Frankie, I can't repay you guys enough for all the work you put in for me, but I appreciate every conversation, every suggestion, all the hard work, every phone call, text message, and idea you guys have come up with, because you know they have a lot. You guys were truly the driving force behind my campaign, and I am truly grateful. Last but not least,
to the entire Jarris family, Frank Jarris, Zahi Jarris, They are the driving force behind her campaigns, all the text messages, phone calls with ideas, because they have plenty of ideas. They are controlling many of the individuals within the Yonkers City Council. When we talk about, why don't you call out the puppet masters, not the puppets? There you go. There you go. They are behind Tasha Diaz. Why do you think she flip-flopped on that housing ordinance in 2021? That's exactly what happened with Sandy Anabi. That's what sent her to jail for 6 years and sent Zahi Jarris to jail for 4 years. And it's happening again. And now Deana Robinson is again thanking him. How many other council members thanked them for their win? If 3 or 4 of them are thanking him for their win, how much control does he have over our council? Who does he represent and work for? Who he makes deals with? Well, we've known him to get arrested and go to jail for doing illegal deals with developers. Remember the Ridge Hill scandal, Longfellow deal, bribery, extortion, blackmail, involving our Yonkers City Council, involving a councilwoman, a Democrat councilwoman, who I believe was also the majority leader. Was she not? No, you cannot make this stuff up. And it's very important that people know this. It is going to be a bestseller one day, City of Hills, because it involves sex, drugs, and politics. Folks, there's so much that I know that I have not spoken in detail about. Trying to leave a window of opportunity when people don't seem to want to take that. Bellamy thanked the mayor and said she owed him. She also thanked Jarris's. She also called Frankie Jarris cute. So why do you think they do these fundraisers, folks? You ever heard of the term money laundering? A great way to launder money is through fundraising, campaign fundraising. Why do you think David Tubiolo had a fundraiser after coming back from boot camp in the Army? Now, he won his election. He didn't even have to be here. He was in boot camp during the election because he had no one going against him. Why? Because they made a deal that no one would run against him. The Republican Party made a deal. I mean, they went as far as called people up personally, high-ranking officers in the Republican Party, calling people to tell them to vote Democrat. This is crazy, and no, you cannot make this up. Knucklehead DiMaggio, I love you. Thank you very much. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics, the only place that truth lives. 2024, let's get it popping.
Let's get it popping.
John Cater, I saw that article. Did you really take that money?
Ready, win. Fatality.
Will Mike Cater come back to politics, or will the past come back to haunt them in 2024? I'm Freddie Vasquez.
Ready, wins. Fatality.
In another one, Mr. Rumo lied to me, and I don't vote for the person who lied to me. Thank you very much.
I wanted this win because I'm greedy and I want some butter chicken. So thank you.
Ready, wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Ready, wins. Fatality.
No!